worst name I've ever heard, and I know what Nintendo is aiming for here. The Switch 1 was such a success, they're trying to capitalize on the name Switch, hopefully driving up sales of the Switch 2, which makes it very obvious to consumers what the product is. It's a sequel, unlike what they did with the Wii. The Wii was a huge success, and then they came out with the successor, the Wii U, and people didn't know if the Wii U was a addition to the Wii or like an accessory or something like that. There was some confusion. So I think to avoid a blunder such as the Wii U, Nintendo said, let's name this the Switch 2, and everyone will not be mistaken like they were with the Wii U. But they could have done something so cool that would have made a old school Nintendo gamer very happy. The first console, the NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, the predecessor to that. Predecessor? Is that before or after? It doesn't matter. The console that came out after Nintendo, the NES, was the SNES, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, one of my all-time favorite Nintendo consoles. And they had the same opportunity here with the Switch. They could have came out with the Super Switch, which would have been so cool and a throwback to very early Nintendo culture. So with the name out of the way, I will let you guys know that normally when Nintendo releases a new console, I usually purchase it day one. I love Nintendo. Out of the three mega, consoles out there, Nintendo default is probably my favorite, although I do love my PS5. And this is the first time I'm not buying a Nintendo console day one. So there's a lot of variables that led me to not purchasing it day one, mainly being the only exclusive that's going to be out on day one is the new Mario Kart. Now, the new Mario Kart does look amazing, and I am absolutely interested in eventually purchasing that and playing it. But I'm not the biggest Mario Kart fan, although I do enjoy it. If Nintendo 2 was launching with some more big hitter exclusives, such as like if they were launching with a new Metroid or a new Zelda or even a new Mario, I would definitely be more inclined to purchasing it day one. I will say the new Donkey Kong game does look very fun, and I'm also excited about playing that. Now, just because I'm not purchasing the Nintendo Switch 2 on the first day doesn't mean I won't ever buy it. I definitely plan on purchasing it in the future. Just not out the gate. I'm gonna wait a little bit on this one, and also not to get too political for all my viewers out there, but if you don't know or haven't gathered the information, I do live in the United States, and with the current political climate, we have the tariffs going on, the tariff war and everything like that, which, is impacting the sales of the new consoles and everything. So I think I'm going to wait a little bit on that, along with, no major exclusives that I want out the gate. Now, the Nintendo Switch 2 does have many features that I am very excited for, mainly being the mouse feature. I think it's pretty cool that you will be able to play a first-person shooter with a mouse-like object from a console. It's very innovative, very cool, very Nintendo. I also think their game-sharing capabilities seem very interesting. So if you don't know, you can digitally lend a game to a friend for a set amount of time, and after that passes, the game will be returned to you. Digitally, I think that is pretty neat as well. Of course, I like is nicer. I like all that. All that's very fun. And they essentially took the Joy-Cons and just improved them. Hopefully we don't run into any drift issues or anything like that. I really hope Nintendo capitalized on fixing that stuff. Now, there are some major things I'm not happy with about the new console. I don't like that they're charging $80 a game. I want these companies to do well, and I think they deserve to be rewarded for their hard work. But $80 for a game is a little outrageous to me. And unfortunately, Nintendo fans are so diehard that they just sold out pre-orders so quickly. So, $80 for a game is probably going to be the staple moving forward. And I'm sure that Sony and Microsoft are probably going to follow suit with that price as well. So that's a little unfortunate. Nintendo is famously or notoriously, depending on how you look at it, very protective of their copyrights and their games. They don't like people emulating or pirating Nintendo games, and many people typically do this because Nintendo rarely ever drops the price of their games. When the Nintendo Switch 2 big Mario game comes out at $80, I think it's probably going to be extremely rare that you see that game or a Zelda or a Metroid go under the $80 price tag probably for years. So to prevent any kind of emulating or pirating on Nintendo's part, they have installed features, and I think I'm understanding this correctly, that if I buy a Nintendo Switch 2 and I mod the console in any way, Nintendo will be alerted and they can shut down the console. And I'm not talking about shutting down your gamer tag or account. They physically will shut down the console, which, is a little odd that they have that kind of control. If you purchase a console, you have physically purchased it, you own it, and I personally feel that you can do whatever you want with it after you purchase it. Now, I also heard that for games that are coming out on the Nintendo Switch 2, specifically the physical copies of games, that you will not be technically purchasing a physical copy of the game. What you will be purchasing is the game card, and on the game card is a key. And when you insert the game card into the Nintendo Switch 2, the key will unlock what said game, and you can play it. So you're no longer purchasing a physical copy of the game, and what you're purchasing is a key, which kind of begs the question of, if they shut down the store and stuff like that, do you still own the game, or do you just own a key to the game? It gets a little sticky, and as someone that enjoys purchasing a physical copy of a game to have forever, this has me a little leery. All of that being said, I'm definitely going to eventually buy a Nintendo Switch 2. I just don't know when it will be. I'm very excited for all the exclusives, Metroid Prime 4, whatever Mario game they come out with, whatever Zelda game they come out with. I love all that stuff. I'm very excited. I can't recall the name right now because I'm just doing this video on the fly, but From Software is, they have that unofficial Bloodborne sequel coming out. Is it like Bloodline? No, that's Castlevania. I don't remember what the name is. I am very excited for that. I'm very curious to see how that will be. And also, deep cut here, but I'm a big Octopath Traveler fan. And if they release Octopath 3 for the Switch 2, that will be huge for me. Among a lot of other games, I mean, we've got Silk future, but for me, for Mr. Tranquil Blab, at the moment, I'm going to wait a little bit before I buy the Switch 2. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave any comments under this video. I'm really curious if I have like a subset of fans on my channel that are big video game fans, and I would love to hear your thoughts and comments and, education if I miss something about any of this.